Harold Sonnenberg was born on November 2nd, 1933, and as a young man growing up in the small Ontario town of Dane City, Harold was a mere spectator at the local racetracks, Merrittville, which opened in '52, and Emerson, which John Poole built and opened late in '57. After spectating a while, he felt he may know enough about cars and racing to try his luck at the sport. There was no rule book, only word of mouth. He felt he needed to test his knowledge of cars and racing. He tried to gather pointers as you were pretty much on your own, no books to mull over or website to pursue. He was not sure why some things were even on the car. He felt the least amount of parts on a race car were better. Why spend his time on broken or bent parts that really did not need to be on the car when he could be focusing on speed? And that is all she wrote. The rest is history. Harold, also known as the Old Master, mastered the speed, the driving, and the sport. Most fans and competitors admire him for his clean and legal race style. Others felt he won too much. Some felt he must be up to no good, never accepting that it was his drive to better himself through constant self-education and testing. Harold's thoughts on this subject are that one person cannot please everyone, and you'll never win without determination and luck. He focused on running clean and legal, not making everyone happy. Rumor in the pits were that he had it so well, not even the tech man could find it. He relayed a story about a tech man at Ransomville who tore him down often. He vowed that one day he would find it. The fellow retired, but not before shaking Harold's hand, as he realized there was nothing to find, unless you consider ingenuity illegal. His driving philosophy is to put on a good race and do it well. Anybody can win being reckless and not respecting other drivers, he said. Lucky coin. The above is the prosperity luck pocket piece that Harold purchased from a souvenir booth at Monroe Fairgrounds in the '60s. He's had it in his pocket without fail ever since. There's also an aluminum shamrock mounted on the dash of his Kegel coupe. Lucky shirt. See that blue plaid shirt? Harold wore it to every race until fire suits arrived on the scene. He said it was a good thing because it was just about wore out by then. Original fire suit, the shirt, jeans, penny loafers, and half helmet were the racing uniform of the day. At one time, Harold had so many cars and drivers on the go, they were admiringly dubbed the Donkey Ranch. At one point, several of the cars had the same paint scheme. Apparently on the track, they all headed up through the pack. Drivers didn't know who was coming at them. This led to a new nickname, the Posse. Harold started his career in what was called the Jalopy class. Years later, the class would be renamed to B class, then to A class, limited sportsman, and finally to sportsman. The classes were named differently, but they were all 6 cylinders. Harold excelled in the 6-cylinder class and spent most of his racing career mastering it. Remember that wonderful sound? You may have been at the canteen or in the washroom, but you knew when they came out on the track. The sound even told you who was driving a Ford and who was driving a Chevy. In the mid-'70s, the sportsman's class fell on tough times. Some tracks even threw the class out. Harold and folks like Tom Mallory and Kirk Douglas weathered this storm by racing at Ransomville with the late models. In the early '80s, Harold tried his hand with the 320s. It was a different sight for his fans. Pipes were coming out on both sides. So that's it for Harold. And just another note, he worked at Dane City Auto Wreckers. My dad was a friend of Skellett, who owned Dane City Auto Wreckers, and he bought a truck, 51 Fargo from Skellett, and my dad always said that Harold Sonnenberg did a lot of work on that, and it was a beautiful running little truck, even if it wasn't GM. So that's it for Harold.